Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Scrad Vanished, episode 6. Here's the timestamps. If you're wondering why I haven't uploaded in 3 weeks, it's just because my motivation for new projects, like a new YouTube channel or a new game, they tend to fluctuate a lot. So I just lost motivation for a bit and didn't make anything for 3 weeks. But I still want to do this, so I've come back to it. And I'm just going to start with making episode 6, where we're going to be talking about clones. Clones are a useful tool that you can use to make Scratch games, and it helps a lot. I wish I knew about clones earlier when I started doing Scratch. Like, I have a lot of games that I could have made 10 times faster using clones. And if you're like an advanced Scratcher, you might go into the comments and tell me that clones aren't good and you should only use them if you have to. And yeah, I know. I've started making a game without using any clones, but like this is a beginner's tutorial. I'm feeling sick right now, so my voice and the editing might not be that good. Okay, so let's get started. So I want to introduce what you would call a learning curve. A learning curve is something that's common in games, where you will have the game start easy but gradually get harder. And you want the learning curve to be just right so that the player is never bored and it's never too hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to use clones. So it starts with pretty much no enemies, but more and more enemies start appearing. So what clones do is it creates copies of a sprite that can run scripts. So down here you have the 3 clone blocks. When I start as clone, create clone of myself, and delete this clone. So you usually use all 3 of these when making games. So I'm just going to show an example here. So we can say when I start as a clone. So now the clone will do this instead of the main sprite. And we'll tell the mouse to make a clone of itself, which means that it will make a clone and the clone will do what the mouse was doing. So let's run that and see how it goes. It looks the same, except you might notice that there's a mouse here. Well, that's actually the original mouse, and he's still there. So I probably want to hide him. So you want to go down to here and just use this hide block. But now you can't see the other mouse that's moving, because we need to tell the clone to actually show. And now you can see we only see the mouse that's moving. And now, clones, they can be quite fun to mess around with. If you tell it to forever make clones, this will lag your computer, by the way, probably. That means it'll just keep making mice. And as you can see, yeah, it's just making mice everywhere. Scratch has a limit of 300 clones, I think that's the number. You can only have 300 clones on the screen at once. So, what we're going to do is we're going to get it to slowly do more and more clones. So let's say every 10 seconds a new mouse spawns. And just while we're testing this, I'm just going to get rid of the ghost for now. So pull this script off and hide him. Let's try this out. As you can see, there's just one mouse. It's just going and walking around. But now there's 2 mice, and you have to dodge both of them. And eventually there'll be a 3rd mouse. Which, there, now it's spawned. Which means the game will get harder and harder as you play. And it'll be harder to dodge them. Now, if it feels like the mice are spawning too slow or too fast, you can change. So instead of saying to spawn it every 10 seconds, you could spawn it every 5 seconds or every 20 seconds or every 1 second. But I'm going to do it at 10 seconds because that seems good. Actually, I'm going to make it 12 because the ghosts are going to make it harder. I'm actually going to change these walls up a bit just to make them a bit smaller. You don't have to do this, it's your choice. And boom, we now have thinner walls, so it should be a bit easier to get around. Won't change much, but I just think it looks better. Now we're going to do the same thing with the ghost. So we're going to have the ghost when I start as clone, and then we're going to get the ghost to create clones of itself. But the ghost is like a lot harder to deal with, so we're going to make it 20 seconds. Oh wait, I forgot to show the clone. We need to show that and also hide that one. There. But I feel like having lots of ghosts will make the game too hard. So I'm just going to make the ghost slower and also smaller. So I changed the move steps and the size. But I think that's a bit too small, so I think that works. So let's play around with it now and see if this is good. Right now it's just normal. The ghost's just following us. There's 2 mice. When the 3rd mice spawns, another ghost should spawn. And look, there's now 2 ghosts that are following us around. However, if the ghost just spawns in the middle, then they'll both kind of group up together like that. So I want it to be different, and I'm going to use a technique that I've been using for a long time. You see, right now the code is telling the ghost to start at x00, which not only could it spawn on the player, but it always spawns in the same spot. So what we're going to do is add some code. We're going to tell it to point in a direction, and it can point in any of these directions. Oh wait, you can't see it because of the set rotation style. I'm just going to turn this off just for now, so that you can see that it's pointing in different directions. What we're doing is we're having the ghost point in different directions. And what we're going to do with that is get this pick random, which we've used in the mouse code before. And it can point in 360 directions. So what we're going to do is pick a random number between 1 and 360, which will make it point in a random direction. And now what we're going to do is tell it to move 200 steps. And we'll just attach this here. I meant 300 steps. And hopefully it shall now always be at the very edge. So as you can see, it does that. And then we can simply tell it to point back to that. And now it will always spawn like that. So what we're going to do is attach that there. And attach that back. And test that out. As you can see now, it spawns from there. Which should make the gameplay more interesting. There's not much else. Clones can be used in a lot of different ways. And start using variables that are only just for one clone. So it starts to become even more useful. One of my a lot of my games use a bunch of clones to handle things, especially games like my Plants vs Zombies fan game, which I'll link in the description if you want to try. There's not much else to talk about, so I guess I'll just do an outro while playing this and hopefully not die. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you learnt anything, let me know, and if you're making your own game, then I would like to try it. My favorite thing is when I do something and it helps other people, which is why I make so many videos on my main channel. Well, kind of. So, yeah, I'd appreciate trying your games. It would also help me with my motivation making these tutorials. See you next time, and bye.